Hello, welcome to easyodds.com. My name is Ross Casey. I'm here with the horse extraordinaire Jake Johns to go through all the Group 1s at Royal Ascot, the festival that starts next week. Jake is here for 2 of the days, so he's going to be fully socialising the festival for 2 days, and then he's off gallivanting around Somerset at Glastonbury Festival. Should be far more fun than horse racing, if you ask me, but I'm not the horse racing man. So, but also, let's also mention that this is sponsored by our friends Bet Victor, who have got an excellent offer of bet £10 and get £40 in free bets when you open an account with them, which is excellent. Ahead of the Royal Ascot Festival, you can open up an account, get £40 in free bets to back lots of these lovely tips from our man Jake Johns. So without any further ado, let's start with the Queen Anne.
Yes. Okay. The Queen Anne, the first race of the meeting, the first race of the entire festival. I'm going to be able to watch only Tuesday, but I'm going to have tips for Wednesday, possibly Thursday, and tips for Tuesday as well. I'll try and do as many races as I can, but I can't do tips for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, other than the big races. Today we're just going to go through the Group 1s, because the video will just go on forever, 5 days. It's going to be a very, very long video. So we're just going through the Group 1s, and the Queen Anne is the first race. Obviously, Frankel won this race a few years ago in unbelievable fashion. One of the, probably the best Royal Ascot winner I've seen in my short amount of years compared to most people. But it was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And we've got a favourite here in Ribchester. And in all honesty, I cannot see him getting beaten. I've never been his biggest fan, but this is not a very deep race at all. He was really, really good in the lock-inch. Probably one of the best mile performances I've seen this season. He was supposed to have a front runner that day, but he just ended up leading from the front and then just destroying them in the finish. Looks to have trained on massively from 3-year-old. He's taken a bit of time to come into himself. Richard Fahey has really slowly got him there. He's openly admitted that himself. Ever since his third in the 2000 Guineas as a 3-year-old last season, he's just come from strength, gone from strength to strength. He won the Jersey at the track last year, albeit on soft ground. It's likely to be pretty fast, which we'll get onto that later. He was the one to take out in the Sussex Stakes when he was third, and he stayed on really, really, really strongly to only go down by half a length. That was on good to firm ground. That was a really good race, better than this one, probably, and on that form he's probably going to be able to take this anyway, and that was on good to firm, so hopefully be able to handle the ground. He won a Group 1 in France on good ground after that. And then he was an unbelievably good second to Minding at Ascot, where he was pretty unlucky. He was only beaten by half a length, and to be beaten by half a length by Minding is no mean feat. That's fantastic form. Definitely need the run at Meydan. I don't think the ground's going to... The main concern to everyone is worried about taking the prize, because for some reason he's 4 to 5 now. He was 10 to 11 earlier, but he's 4 to 5 now. You can put that in accumulators, because I think he's pretty good, decent price at 4 to 5. Still, I wouldn't be like, oh, put all your money on him, but I still think in quite a poor race, I think he's the most likely winner, and I just can't see that much in behind. Now, the first day is the day where there's the most Group 1s. There's obviously 3 on day 1, and the second Group 1 is the King's Stand, 5 furlong sprint. Usually a very, very big field. Won this race last year with profitable... The ground was a little bit softer that year, and it's likely to be pretty hard today on day 1 of Royal Ascot, so I would probably leave him alone for now. But the ones at the top of the market that are of interest to me are Lady Aurelia and Marsha, kind of fighting out favouritism at the moment. Lady Aurelia, the most, to the eye, the most impressive winner at Royal Ascot last season in the Queen Mary, won by 7 lengths, absolutely destroyed them from the front. Frank Dettori said go, and she just shot clear in about 3 strides. It was just over, game over. Probably the most impressive win since that Frankel win I was talking about earlier, that I've seen anyway. She did win since, and she was really good in America last time, and Wesley Ward, as always, is bullish, but she hasn't really shown that level of form, that unbelievable, like, this is incredible, this is one of the best fillies I've seen, best sprinting fillies I've seen. Since then, and also the form in behind her on that day, that win the Queen Mary, is pretty shocking, to be honest. There's a couple of listed winners, but nothing other than that. But saying that, if she comes here and runs to that level of form again, she's probably going to be very, very tough to beat. But we haven't seen it since, and I don't know, I'm going to be steering clear. I think the favourite should be Marsha, and Marsha's going to be my tip for this as well. Beat loads of these in the Palace House Stakes at the start of the season. Smart Prescott's yards tend to come on a little bit later on in the season, so that was even more impressive. They tend to be, all of them tend to be a little bit backwards at that time of the season. So she had that to contend with. She also was giving away a Group 1 penalty, which is very, very hard to do in a 5-furlong sprint, because she won the Prix d'Abbé the run before, and she did that, and she won with quite a lot in hand as well. That was an absolutely fantastic run. For a filly to do that, give away weight on her first run of the season, 3 yard that are known to not do very well at the start of the year. Very, very, very impressive. She's guaranteed a lightning fast pace. She needs a really fast pace. She got that in the Prix d'Abbé. She got that in the Palace House Stakes at Newmarket. Obviously, Lady Aurelia is going to just go up like an absolute monster, so she could set it up for Marsha. I think Marsha should be clear favourite here, so 4-1 is actually a decent price in my book. Best price 4-1. I will be going with that all day long. The next race is the St James's Palace Stakes. Now, I got a lot of stick for tipping Barney Roy in the 2,000 guineas. Obviously, Churchill won that day. Churchill seems to just... Obviously, he's unbeaten since his debut. He just seems to always do just enough. But I would still say Barney Roy was a bit unlucky in the 2,000 guineas. I'm not saying that he definitely would have won, because it's just impossible to tell, but he obviously didn't handle the dip, which was a right concern that people had before then, as he almost fell over. He got boxed in, he couldn't get over to Churchill's side. It was absolutely superb tactics from the O'Brien trio, and Churchill just had the race his own way and won. But Barney Roy got within a length, and on another day, on a flatter track, it could be a different turnaround. Obviously, Churchill has improvement in him as well. He really impressed me in the Irish 2,000 guineas where he won that. He could just be a little bit better than Barney Roy, but I'm going to go at the prices. Churchill is odds on. Barney Roy's best price is 9-4. I actually tipped him at 7-2 a couple of weeks ago. I'm really happy with that price. And I think they both could improve, but I think Barney Roy at the prices, I just don't think there's that much disparity as the prices suggest. So I think 9-4, they should be a little bit closer than they are. So I'm going to be going with Barney Roy. I'm going to stick with Barney Roy, even though I'm going to get a lot of sticks. There's people that absolutely love Churchill, and I like him as well, but I just think, for me, it's going to be Barney Roy. Richard Hadlin is absolutely bullish as well. Decent chance, I think. Right, so we're moving on to day 2. And the Group 1 and the feature race on day 2 is the Prince of Wales Stakes. Not a great race last season, and I would arguably the worst Group 1 of the entire meeting this time round. I had 2 tips for this. One of them was Minding, got withdrawn, and had So Me Dar at 20-1, and I backed her, and she got backed into 6-1. Well, she got backed into 6-1, but she was 6-1, and then she was withdrawn again. Are we ever going to see her run to her best? I'm not sure. She had the weird blood sample before Sandown, where she was meant to run. She's got an injury for this. She just seems very, very injury prone, and she's got so much talent as well, so it's really annoying. But let's not dwell on that. Anyway, the one that I like for this now is going to be Jack Hobbs. Tipped at 7-2, now 3-1, because Cloth of Stars has been withdrawn. I think Jack Hobbs should be clear favourite. I think he's like showing favourite with Ulysses, who is really, really well bred. Couldn't be a more classic stout horse, improving at older age. But he's beaten Deauville. I don't think he should be favourite for this, even though potentially he could be pretty good. And he was impressive that day. I think Jack Hobbs, the worry for people is the good firm ground and the distance, and the fact that he can just put in a really poor run out of nowhere. You can't really trust him. But one of the things that drew me to him was his he managed to put together 2 really good runs, albeit one was at the end of last season, one was at the start of this season, but there were still 2 good runs in a row. So hopefully he might have turned the corner. The run behind Al Manzour and Found in the Champion Stakes, that would have been a winning run of most years. Found was absolutely flying at the end of the season, just won the Arc. Al Manzour Arguably the best horse in Europe, if not, maybe not even arguably, or almost definitely the best horse in Europe. I mean, Almanzor and Minding is close between them, but I would say Almanzor is the best horse in Europe. So, Champion Stakes, that was a really good race, and that was a really good run. And it was on good ground, over course and distance. And then last time, he couldn't have been more impressive at Meydan, absolutely destroyed them. But he has form on good to firm. He won in Ireland on good to firm. Or good ground. He won. He came third at Ascot on good ground. This is a really, really bad race. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Hobbs. This is just quite a poor race. So we move on to day 3, and the feature race on day 3 is the Ascot Gold Cup. And now, weirdly for me, I've been doing a couple of short prices for recently in the last couple of tips. I like some big ones here. Obviously, Order of St George is probably the most likely winner, but he's been sweating up quite a lot before the races recently, and when he does that, he tends to not run as well as he usually could do. So that's a bit of a risk, and he's 11 to 8, shorter in most places. So you're going to have to be taking a bit of a risk with him. He probably is the most likely winner, but only looking at horses at bigger prices each way. First one I like is Sweet Selection for Hughie Morrison. Improving like an absolute monster. She started her career at a lowly mark of 66, and now she's rated 105, £49 improvement in a couple of years. Some of that has to be put down to the step up to 2 miles, and it seems like the further she goes, the better she goes. She put up a hat-trick of wins in 2016, went up to 2 miles, and then ran a really, really decent 4 for 15 at York. Bit unlucky in running as well. I'm absolutely convinced she didn't show her proper running, true running in the Doncaster Cup when she tried in group company for the first time. That's going to put a lot of people off, but I don't think that was her true running. She then absolutely bolted up with this Cesarovic, in an enormous field, obviously, and she was still miles ahead of the handicapper despite being put up. So she's improving massively throughout 2016. She's only been seen once this season, and that was in the Sagara Stakes at Ascot over 2 miles. And she's shown herself to be a really, really strong. She's a really strong stayer. So it was a really slow pace that day, and that would have inconvenienced her at least as much as everything else. And she absolutely destroyed them. 1.5 length victory. I just think that's decent form. And also, when you look at the Sagara Stakes through the years, it's been a decent pointer for this race, even though you might think it's a little bit too low in class. But you know, the winner of the 2012 Sagara and 2013 won the Gold Cup. 2014 and 2015 winners of the Sagara didn't run the Gold Cup, and then Mizu, who won the 2016 race, was a really good second behind Order of St George last year. On her current trajectory, Sweet Selection, it's not just possible that she's going to improve again. It's more likely than not, I'd say. And the trip's just going to be perfect for her. With the Gold Cup, you've got to think, are they going to stay? It's not definite they're going to stay, so I'm going to go with her, as I think she's going to stay, and she's got a decent chance, and it's a good price as well, 16 to 1. One more that I like here, an absolutely massive price, bit of a flyer, To Be Wild for Hugo Palmer, 33 to 1, completely unexposed, not guaranteed to run, but if he does, could be a nice each way bet. I actually fancy Wall of Fire for this, for the exact same connections, but I think they're going to go on a globetrotting mission with him, so they're going to stick with this one instead. And he's only run 5 times in his career. He's won 2 of those starts. The second of those wins came at Doncaster over 1 mile 4. That's when he first caught my eye. He was outpaced from a long way out over 1 mile 4, but seemed to just glide to the front. It got to the front after just a long time under pressure. Got to the front really easily, and then kind of snapped back on the bridle and won by absolutely miles out of Percy Street, who's a really strong stayer. Actually, he was 6th in the Fred Winter this year. That day, it looked like 1.5 miles would be his absolute minimum trip, but they've kept him at that trip for a while since then. He started off with a respectable effort at Newcastle. We probably didn't handle the surface. A lot of horses don't. Josephine Gordon took it really easy with him that day. Went off 16 to 1 outside of the field in the Aston Park Stakes, and managed to get 4th behind Hawk Bill. Outpaced again. And then stayed on at the finish. So it makes you think that Further's going to sue. Hawkbill got his ideal conditions that day, and Hawkbill was the winner of the Eclipse on soft ground, so he's an absolutely superb horse. I also don't think he handled the soft that day, and the Hugo Palmer yard were going absolutely terribly then. So the fact that he ran so well when everything from the yard was going so badly means he could be pretty good. He stayed on at the death after getting really badly outpaced, like I said before. It's a massive hike up in distance, so we're not 100% sure what's going to go on, but at 33 to 1, it's worth a little bit of a risk. He's got massive scope, he's unexposed, could be worth a small each-way wager, 33 to 1. On to day 4, and there are 2 Group 1s on day 4. The first is the Commonwealth Cup, which is shaping up to be one of the races of the entire meeting. We've got some serious animals in this one. 6 furlong sprint for 3-year-olds. Could have an unbelievable lineup. We'll start off at the top. Caravaggio, who is unbeaten in his 5 starts to date. Absolute monster. Absolute monster. He won the Coventry last year in remarkable fashion. Not many things went right for him that day. Not sure how much he liked the soft ground. Beat Memas, who won 2 Group 2s on his next 2 starts. He then bolted up in the Phoenix Stakes, farcical race, where the O'Brien family had about pretty much every runner in the field, in the 5-runner field, apart from like 1, I think. 1 to 7, won easily, was nothing race really, and couldn't have been more impressive on his first start in 2017. Definitely trained on, pulled him out, immediately just ate up the ground in about a quarter of a furlong, and it was just really impressive. But again, the price 5 to 4. If the horse that I fancy wasn't in this, he would be long odds on. But he is, and I would say that victory by Caravaggio probably wasn't the most impressive 3-year-old 6 furlong victory I've seen this season, because even Harry Angel runs for Clive Cox, 7-2 best price. Very different to Caravaggio, as in that he's kind of slowly coming to himself. Always had a ridiculous amount of potential, but hasn't always shown it. Or he's shown it, but he hasn't won enough. The races that's impressive. He's not as kind of Caravaggio just destroys horses, straight and narrow, fantastic horse. But this one has serious potential, and at the prices, I'm probably willing to take a bit of a risk with him. He ran twice at 2. He was second at Ascot on debut. Showed plenty of promise. Stayed on into second. That was over 5 furlongs. It was only a hands and heels ride under Adam Kirby, and then he was clearly took the horse to take out the race though, and he showed that, and he bolted up over 6 furlongs next time. But there was still a lot of kind of a sense of that there could be more to come from this horse. He jinked right out of the gate, and he was really keen. He started his 3-year-old season this year with a race that absolutely stunk of potential. I mean, it was silly. He was second behind Blue Point, who's probably going to reoppose here. He pulled like an absolute monster throughout the entire race. It was crazy. He was running in a group of only 4 on his side, and he clearly needed the run. He looked like he was going to win anyway, but he didn't. But it was just still a really fantastic run. I said after on Twitter that he was the one to take out of the race, that's for sure. And then he just put it all together at Haydock last time. Where he put in, it was insane. He went from the front, Lady Aurelia style, and then just destroyed them, just put them to the sword. It could be worth noting that change of tactics was employed, which is going to he's going to struggle to do that again with a Wesley Ward horse in this, but he's going to be up on the pace hopefully, because they let him go. He's been really free. He was still free in that race, which we'll come on to later, but he was free that day, and then Adam Kirby just let him go, and he absolutely bolted clear. The ground at Haydock was really quick that day, but the time was absolutely sensational. It was actually a course record by a pretty big margin as well. And he was keen for the whole race. Until he was put under pressure, he was keen for the majority of the race. So there could even be more to come. He's clearly rapid. But yeah, Bound to Nowhere for Wesley Ward is obviously going to go out like a monster as well. Bound for Nowhere has been training with Lady Aurelia and apparently kind of getting the better of her on a couple of occasions. Wesley Ward said Lady Aurelia is still ahead of him, but obviously a decent horse. But I think this Harry Angel could be absolutely amazing. I mean, it's crazy that we've got 2 superstars, or potential. Caravaggio is unbeaten, and you could argue that he already is pretty much a superstar, but Harry Angel at 7-2, I'll be going with him for Clive Cox. Next up is the Coronation Stakes, the second Group 1 and the feature race of Day 4 of Royal Ascot. We're likely to see the return of Winter for this race, who obviously won I tipped her for the 1,000 guineas at 9 to 1. Missed the price, but still decent because she won. And then she won the Irish 1,000 guineas, where she was, if anything, even more impressive. In all honesty, I cannot see her getting beaten If you want to put her in a multiple of some sort, then be my guest. But 8 to 11, I'm not going anywhere near a price like that. Although I said after 1,000 guineas she was still keen at the start, and then she was better in the. Wait, what did I say? She was keen in the British 1,000 guineas, but she was much better in the Irish 1,000 guineas last time. Absolutely bolted up. I can't see anything getting better than her. But without the favourite, I don't know if the market's out yet, but there's one that I quite like. Talayeb for Owen Burrows. Only had 2 career starts to date. Started her career with a really, really impressive victory at Newmarket. She got a bump, but then shot clear of Neshmare, who was pretty close to shutter speed last time. We know how good shutter speed is. And that was an under hands and heeled ride as well. So she's clearly got a lot of potential. Then last time, her first run of the season, only her second run ever, she was tried in the 1,000 guineas, and it was an astounding performance considering it was only her second start. Travelled like a dream in behind horses on the stands rail, bolted clear of her group, had to run by herself on that side. All of the action was going on elsewhere. And she was kind of taken easy with Jim Crowley when the race was done. She ended up finishing 4th, but it was such an eye-catching run. She could be seriously, like, you know, she could have a lot. She could be really good. She could definitely be second best here anyway. And she's got the worry is that she's entered in a race on Thursday, which is tomorrow. But Owen Burrows has kind of been quoted as saying that it could be she could go for the race at Newbury on Thursday and then immediately go to the Coronation Stakes at Ascot. So that's a 8-day break, but it's a very short break. But they're just going to go bang bang with her, try and get a real quick double in. It's going to be hard, but I think she's got a lot of potential. If she wins at Newbury on Thursday, and then after the race, Owen Burrows says, "Yeah, this is the plan. We're going to go to the Coronation Stakes straight away." She's not going to be 12 to 1. I don't know what price it's going to be without the favourite. I'll probably closer to the time I'll be able to, you know, find out what the price is. So I think she's a decent bet. She's currently 12 to 1 each way, but I'd rather go without Winter because I think Winter's going to win. But I can't see a market that's formed yet for this, so I'm going to go with Talayeb without Winter. Day 5, the final day of Royal Ascot. Boo, 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 boo. It's mental because I'm not even, by this point, I'm going to have no idea what's going on. I'm going to have no internet, so I'm just going to have no clue who won Diamond Jubilee, who's won the Coronation Stakes, who's won the bloody Commonwealth Cup. But anyway, Diamond Jubilee Stakes. This is going to be probably my biggest bet of the entire meeting. Group 1 over 6 furlongs. Twilight Sun won last year for Henry Candy. And he has the favourite again here in the gelding, Limato, and he is currently 5 to 1, and that is an absolutely superb price, I think. The forecast for next week is really good. It's going to be sunny the whole week. The ground's going to get faster and faster and faster, especially seeing as it's the last day, and that's what this horse needs. But anyway, there's the other horses in there. Magical Memory is kind of the second favourite. Went off 3 to 1 favourite for this last year and was 4th in the bunched finish. A lot of stuff didn't go his way. Went off the boil a little bit. And not much was expected of him on this first run of the season, actually. But he ran really, really well. Went second behind Tazleet, who's probably going to reoppose him this year. But I think on good to firm ground, Magical Memory might just be slightly better than Tazleet on good to firm ground. But I'm banking on fast ground. If it's not fast ground, I'm screwed because Limato, 5 to 1, is going to need fast ground. He won the July Cup last season on good to firm. Probably one of the best sprint performances I saw of the entire season. The other one was probably the Nunthorpe behind Mecca's Angel. Those two, I mean, Mecca's Angel, run that in a ridiculously fast time. For some reason, she's just unbelievable in the Nunthorpe. And Limato was second. That was over 5 furlongs. He needs 6 furlongs to 7 furlongs, good to firm ground. And if he gets that, he's I would say near impossible to beat. 6 to furlongs, good to firm ground, or 7 furlongs, good to firm ground. He also won the Prix de la Forêt on good ground over 7. Couldn't be more impressive. One of the most impressive winners at that meeting. His form on 6 over 6 furlongs on good ground, or on good to first ground, is first, second, first. Group 1's in there. So yeah, Henry Candy's going to be rubbing his hands together for that bright forecast. He's probably only available at 5 to 1 because he was really bad at Meydan last time, but they had an absolute deluge of rain. It was just constant. It was like a monsoon for a bit. The ground cut up badly. He would have absolutely hated it. You would have thought in Dubai, one place you could count on good ground is there, but it wasn't. It was terrible. And he just didn't perform. He just needs good to fast ground. He needs fast ground to show his best. That is just it. And I think his price will get shorter than 5-1 just because the weather's so nice. So I've backed him already at 5-1. I can't really see him getting beaten if the ground turns up fast. So that is it. Done. The whole of Royal Ascot, well, not the whole of Ascot, the Group 1's done. Imagine how mental it would have been if I did any other races. I would have gone for hours and hours and hours. But yeah, those are my fancies.
Shall we go through them one more time?
Okay, let's just quickly go through them all. This is going to say, oh god, I've got millions of bits of paper. Okay, day 1, Queen Anne. Ribchester, 4-5. King Stand, I like Marsha, 4-1. Really like her actually. St James's Palace Stakes, Barney Roy, 9-4, tipped at 7-2. Prince of Wales, Jack Hobbs, tipped at 7-2, now 3-1. Ascot Gold Cup on day 3, I like Sweet Selection each way, and To Be Wild each way for Hugo Palmer, 33-1. Day 4 in the Commonwealth Cup, I like Harry Angel at best price of 7-2. And then in the Coronation, I like Talayeb for Urban Burrows without winter when that market forms. Don't know what price, 12-1 each way at the moment if anyone fancies that. And then in the Diamond Jubilee, I like Limato, probably my bet of the entire meeting, at 5-1. Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant stuff there. Lots and lots of research has gone into that from our man Jake Johns. So hopefully you like at least one of the selections from our man. And don't forget to get the very best prices. Do use the Easy Odds odds comparison service, whether you're using it on the app, the desktop or the mobile service. Make sure that you do that. And we will have, and we do have, it's out now, the Royal Ascot app.
Yeah.
We'll have a link put in the bottom of this video. It's got the latest odds, it's got the latest tips, it's got free bets and offers, including the sponsors of this video, Bet Victor. Bet £10, get £40 in free bets. So excellent offer there from our friends at Bet Victor. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, comment on this video, let us know what you're backing at Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. I've been Ross Casey. This is Jake Johns.
Bye.